Welcome to Nigeria Today, and on this episode we are going to be looking at some topical issues in the polity. Now we all know that the major issue right now, being in an election year, is politics. Come February 2019, Nigeria will be going to the polls to elect a new president, as well as governors and politicians who are going to be taking up positions of authority in charge of the affairs of majority of Nigerians. Today on the set to discuss some of these topical issues in relation to elections, I have Dr. GARBA UMAR. He is a member technical committee, the office of the Secretary General of the Federation, and he also is a member of the ruling All Progressive Congress. Dr. GARBA, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Yes. Now, let's look critically at the issues on ground. 2019 general elections. How prepared are we going into these elections?
Nigerians are well prepared for 2019 because number one, when we talk of election, what we need is peace. And I can say when it comes to the issue of peace in this country, we have achieved at least not less than 70%. So if there is peace in the country, the issue of election is something that I can say we are well prepared. Number one. And then number two, the level of enlightenment now, gone are the days when you have election that is full of violence, political treachery, all this. I can see the level of enlightenment now is a little bit high. You don't have this issue of political crisis, treachery, and whatsoever. So I can see the Nigerian community is becoming more and more enlightened when it comes to the issue of democracy. So this has proven to us that we are well prepared towards the 2019 election.
All right, thank you very much. The general Nigerians are prepared, Nigerians are excited, Nigerians are looking forward come 2019 to exercise their franchise. Now, the ruling All Progressive Congress, they are the party of the day, they are the party in governance, and they hope to continue staying in government. And a critical issue right now is internal party democracy, which will make sure that this comes to a reality come 2019. And it appears the ruling party has been going through some toughs as a fallout of the primaries to elect candidates that will fly the party's flag come 2019 general elections. Recently, we had, I think, in Ondo State, about 2,000 members of the ruling All Progressive Congress Party defecting to the opposition as a fallout of being disgruntled by the results of the primaries and whatnot. Now, putting all of that in perspective, how is the party handling this to ensure that it doesn't rock the boat?
If you are not comfortable where you are, you have every right to move to another place. The issue of people decamping from APC to PDP or to any other party, it is something. People are decamping from other parties to APC. And then wherever you have quite a number of people, I can say crowd, you must surely have that crisis. Before this time, we are not the ruling party. In fact, there are some places that we have to even call some people to come and pick our forms. Even at times, even free of charge. Because the party is like, they didn't believe the party can make it. And that was when you have all this crisis in PDP. When they were the ruling party, you know, the crisis, the primaries in Bauchi, the president has to ship the primaries back to Abuja. This crisis we have been in the APC today. It was in PDP when they were in the ruling party. So that is it. Because everyone is trying to make sure that he is on board. This is a winning trend that is moving. So everybody wants to make sure that he clinches a seat. So that is why you must have, there is no way you can avoid that crisis in the party. Everybody, maybe somebody that just came in without much serious, thinking that APC will not make it, he clinched the ticket, he is now a member House of Representatives. And now APC is a ruling party. Somebody that thinks he is more matured in politics than him is now trying to make sure that he maybe retrieve or maybe collect back the ticket from him. You must have this kind of crisis. I know some people are complaining that why will APC sell forms to people and then at the end of the day they pick these and no. You see, yesterday somebody was giving me an example that during the PDP era, if they want to give a senator to a certain person, they end up selling only one form in that particular constituency so that there won't be crisis. But definitely sure, the right of other people has been deprived. You have to allow them to pick the form, go into the primaries, and then try their luck.
But it appears this is the kind of problem we are having in the ruling party right now, because some people we are giving automatic tickets. Some people that defected from the opposition party came into APC, and based on their popularity or thereabout, maybe the APC felt, okay, maybe with this person we are sure of victory. But then there are people that were on ground before, and that's why we're having all this crisis.
What I want you to know is that in everything you are doing, it is a game of do and compensation. You cannot just work without compensation. Anybody that you see the party is given an automatic ticket, there must be reason for that. It is an issue that I want to checkmate my opponent. Likewise, he's trying to checkmate me. So, as a party loyalist today, if I am contesting with Mr. B, and the party think Mr. A has performed or Mr. B has performed, that he needs to be given that ticket automatic. If I am true a loyalist of the party, I will just go by the decision of the party.
Party supremacy.
That is it. We know there are so many people in the party that are sponsored to create confusion. And this is when you are in democracy, you see more than this. So definitely sure some people are complaining, thinking that this crisis will affect the chances. No, this is internal crisis. It does not change anything.
But when you have people leaving the party,
that is democracy. There is no way you can play a politics thinking that your house will remain intact 100%. Definitely sure somebody must go and some people must come in. That is it. So had it been it is only people defecting out, nobody coming in, that is why we're having problem. Initially we were not having Ekiti. Today we have Ekiti State. If you look at it, it is another milestone. So likewise, there are some senators that came into APC, and there are some senators in APC that moved to other party. So definitely sure, that is democracy. That's the beauty of democracy.
It's the beauty of democracy. Yes. But then some would argue that it's also a problem for democracy in Nigeria, because many have said that Nigerian political parties have no ideology. It's an all-comers effect. You can defect from today, tomorrow you can come in, and then there's a marriage of strange bedfellows.
You see, most of these people defecting, I'm not saying all of them, most of them are people that I can say they are over-ambitious. I must have that. I must contest. And if you look at them, 75% of them are not from the ruling party. Even those of them that came into the party, they moved back. Because what they were expecting, they entirely saw something different. There are some people that think they are smart, they are learned, they have political techniques, that they think they can cripple the government from the inception so that to tarnish or to smear the image of Mr. President, so that at the end of the day, they will play a game. At the end of the day, they end up losing both sides. You know the crisis that has been going on in the Senate, they delay the budget, all this we know it is a sabotage, technically. So, for a Nigerian to look at it critically, Buhari doesn't even care about campaigning. He has passion for this country, so he focused on how to move this country forward. Somebody that is sitting over a seat, precisely, occupying, I can say, the second or the third seat, and trying to sabotage the effort of the government for his own selfish interests. I hope you understand. So Nigerians are looking at all this. If you look at the turnout in Kaduna when Mr. President visited, everyone was shocked. In fact, All these people creating confusion here and there. We know they planted so many people in the APC. That was what happened to them initially when they were dropped out from their former house. So we thank God now, the house, if you look at it, everything is now at least everything, we have calmness in the house. And definitely sure, I want to give you assurance, before the kickoff of the campaign, APC will come back as a one house.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. But still on the political turf,
Yeah.
the seeming challenge of the opposition. We have, at the last count, I think it's 74 candidates vying for the #1 seat in Nigeria, with the sitting incumbent president inclusive. And then also we have a towering image of the major opposition parties, flag bearer in the person of ATIKU Abubakar, who seems to be popular among some demographics in Nigeria. Do you see that as a challenge?
No. ATIKU is not a challenge to Buhari in any way. Okay, let me give you an example. The same ATIKU, the people that are now trying to sell ATIKU to us are the same people that want us to stay away from the same ATIKU yesterday. So if they are coming today to tell us about ATIKU, the way they sit in their library, took their time to write a book. I'm not saying a sheet of paper, 2-3 pages, no, a book, just to convince us to throw ATIKU out. They have to go back and write the same book on ATIKU to convince us to pick ATIKU and tell us their reasons, which will take them another 2 years. By then we are maybe in 2023. Number two, when you look at President Muhammadu Buhari, his integrity, his record, with that of ATIKU, it's like so many people in the race believe that at 2019 they will end up wasting their money. Okay, let's push somebody that has much to waste. Let him go and do it. That is the game. Definitely sure. Because where are they? It is very surprising. For the first time, ATIKU contested not once, not twice. He never, at least, I think, came even second in any primaries. So what happened to PDP just all of a sudden that he's even emerging the overall winner? So maybe those people pushing him forward, they were looking for a means to punish him, and they don't have. Now they have a means to punish him by collecting what they think he has. There are some people talk of international connection. If you look at the international integrity of the President Muhammadu Buhari, it can't even match it to ATIKU Abubakar. I am from the Northeast. Now, ATIKU Abubakar is from the Northeast.
Yes.
If you look at the development, ATIKU spent 8 years as the vice president. I remember somebody questioning me on Facebook that 8 years, the vice president has no role to play in government. I said, that means you don't know what governments mean. The whole vice president that spent 8 years, this Boko Haram crisis, what has ATIKU contributed to the Northeast? Nothing. Has he ever been to Borno or Yobe to ask how are you doing, what is happening, or to consult with anybody? 200 Chibok girls got missing. In Dapchi, the something. He never for once visited these people. Said, these are my people. Just you come overnight and you are thinking, Northeast is my zone.
Okay.
Definitely, I'm telling you,
yes,
the worst hit ATIKU will have in 2019 will come from the Northeast.
But is it not a problem that the ATIKU is from the north, and the president is also from the north?
When we are talking about Buhari and ATIKU, the issue of even north doesn't even arise. We know when it comes to issue of party, the party is like more or less the PDP has more weight in the south, southeast, while the APC has more weight in the north and the northwest. We know that. But when it comes to issue of personality, even those in PDP knows very clear that they are supporting ATIKU simply because they don't want to be tried. Simply because they have so many skeletons in their cupboards. When this man come back in 2019, maybe they will be tried. Some of them have a lot of cases Some of them have embezzled money. All this, that is the people that are supporting ATIKU.
Okay.
That is it. But any well-meaning Nigerian that means well for this country knows that President Buhari is the best president for Nigeria.
All right.
This is the person that doesn't have that quest for wealth. He doesn't care who you are. He doesn't ask where you come from. So many people that are enjoying in this government have not even contributed anything towards the election of President Muhammadu Buhari. But they are there based on their competence. Simply because he believes and they can deliver, and it will be well for this country.
We'll take a quick break now, and when we come back, the program continues.
The question of leadership is a factor in this regard to the success of the fight against the Boko Haram terrorists. And then you look at also the factor of morale.
You're welcome back. The program is still Nigeria Today, and my guest has been Dr. GARBA UMAR. We have been talking about politics and the upcoming 2019 general election. And my guest here is of the opinion that the crisis in the ruling All Progressive Congress is nothing to lose sleep about. It is just an internal family affair that is going to be all over, just like any other problem. And he also doesn't see the threat of the opposition come 2019 general election. Now, Dr. GARBA, let's look at another critical issue that is in the polity right now and that may or may not have some bearing come 2019 election. Talking about the NLC crisis. We've been having crisis of wage increase. It didn't start with this administration. It has been there in Nigeria for over time, agitations for wage increase and all of that. But now we have a president that came on board promising Nigerians a lot of things, which one of the promises was on welfare of workers, welfare of Nigerians generally. Now, you are closer to the corridors of power. You are in the office of the Secretary General of the Federation, which one way or the other deals with issues of labor. How do you see all of this playing out? Are the labor union, are they justified in what they are asking?
Thank you. You see, the issue of labor and then the minimum wage crisis and the 2019 election are two different things entirely. Labor is a body of intellectual people. Labor is a body of people that almost move this country. When it comes to issue of salary or minimum wage, this is something that has to do with both parties, the ruling party, the other parties. I can say the politicians and even those that are not politicians. So it will not affect the chances of Mr. President in 2019. No single president in Nigeria has ever ruled that has never encountered the problem of salary and strike. But when it comes to issue of their salary, they take it entirely different issue. When it comes to issue of election or electing a leader to rule the country, it is an entirely different thing. That is why, if you look at it, most of them are agitating for this minimum wage, but if you come tomorrow, you see them playing politics, and in fact, even in the ruling party. So that has nothing to do with this issue. Number two, I like the way this dragging goes a little bit between them, simply because it's not good for the government to just go ahead and promise what they cannot deliver. They knew better what they have in their compass. So the labor knew how people are suffering. If the government says, okay, I can pay 25,000 simply because this is what I can afford, they are right. I think it is better than when the government accepts to pay 50,000 and at the end of the day, we are going on strike for non-payment of salary. Definitely sure, the government knows what they can do. Most of these governors that are complaining about the minimum wage knows that if they agree on that particular amount, it will affect even the day-to-day running of the state. They have a lot of projects to carry on. We cannot just rely on salary. There are some governors that have that enlightenment that they can go out and see how they can source funds for their state for some developmental projects and infrastructures. But there are some governors that only believe in the monthly salvation they collected from the state. So any governor that relies 100% on that monthly salvation, definitely sure, if he goes by what the labor wants, at the end of the day, he may end up finishing the whole tenure paying only salary.
But is it not instructive that this whole agitation is coming just few weeks to a presidential election?
Yeah, people think it has a connection with the issue of politics. It doesn't have.
Yeah, but the Labour are saying no increment, no vote.
No, it's not like that. This is just a threat. Because definitely sure this is the right time to hit on the government. Definitely, you know, and I know, this is the right time. That if you drag, definitely sure something will come out.
But many governments have come in on the strength of promises. Wouldn't it be a plus to this administration to just promise, okay, I'll give you this, and then win the election and then look into it, than to just outrightly deny and then lose the support of Labour?
No, it's not denying. That is what I'm saying. It's more honorable to stay on your stand than to just go ahead and promise what you cannot do. I hope you understand. It is more honorable to make sure that if you promise, you fulfill the promise. But don't just say yes because you want people to vote you in 2019. Yeah, I can give you 30,000 minimum wage. At the end of the day, 3 months no salary. You are giving them 1 month after 3 months. It will be more disgraceful. But when they drag, these are learned people. These are people that know what this country into. At the end of the day, I'm sure the government delegation will convince them and they will reach to a particular point where both parties will agree and work together. And I'm telling you very soon, because the way I'm seeing it, they are almost to the line of this thing. So very soon, they will agree. So that is why I'm saying that entirely have nothing to do with the chances of Mr. President or any political office. They are enlightened people. They know who is this and who is Mr. A, who is Mr. B, who can deliver, who cannot. So the Labour cannot just sacrifice this country simply because of minimum wage. They cannot.
But that doesn't remove the reality that on ground, that the truth is the ordinary man's labor at the end of the day cannot even take him home. I think that's the basis on why the Labour is agitating. Because of the economic situation on ground, 18,000 naira is not enough for a man that has a family and takes care of a lot of other things. That is the basis on why Labour is agitating. Aside from the politics, does it remove the fact that Nigerians are suffering and their conditions need to be improved upon? If it means through Labour increase, wage increase.
There is something I want you to understand. If today the minimum wage is increased not even to 30,000, to 60,000, by tomorrow, go to market, all the prices that you know will surely go up. So it's like we'll still go back to the same thing. Number one. And then number two, the issue of hardship. Definitely sure there is no way when you are having an ailment, you go to the doctor, he embark on surgery, and you think that surgery will be done without any pain. It cannot. This is the country that has been under people that doesn't care about the masses, doesn't care about well-being of this country for 16 good years. They looted this country dry to the extent that when this government took over, the treasury of the government was red. If not, that God help us, it was General Muhammadu Buhari that took over. I'm telling you, the person that took over this country cannot even pay salary. So this country has been, in fact, it was run dry for 16 years. Now that this country is coming back, you have seen it yourself, you are living witness. You can see the economic revampment. There are so many things. The TSA, now look at our GDP. So everything is now gradually coming to settle. The issue, some people said dollar was this dollar. When PDP took over, how much was dollar? When PDP took over 16 years ago, how much was petrol? So definitely sure, the more days are going, the more things are increasing.
Your last word on the 2019 general elections. It is the electorate that will go there and decide. And it is one man with his one vote. I want you to talk to the electorate right now. Not on a party level, just as Nigerians exercising their franchise. Your last word on the election.
As a Nigerian, I want to advise the fellow Nigerians to make sure that they have a good choice for this country. We don't have to look at who is going to give us money to vote him. If you give me 5,000 today and I vote you, my conscience will never be clear. Let us sit down collectively in our communities, consult ourselves, who is the best man for this country? What is happening in this country? How do we have this, how do we get this solution? Let's see how we have a better picture for our children. In every country in the world, the pride of that country is the youth. But in Nigeria today, every problem that comes up ends up on the youth. The terrorists use the youth. The military use the youth. In fact, everywhere, if you see any crisis, if 100 people dies today, almost 70% you see their youth. And this is something that I can say is something that is very sensitive. Youths are the backbone of the nation. So let's see how we can plan and make sure we have a better country for our children and our children's children. We should forget about the issue of sentiment. We should forget about the political differences. We should forget about religious bigotry. Let's focus on one Nigeria and make sure that 2019 we voted the right candidate that will bring back this country to the right track. That is my advice.
Well, you've heard it from my guest, Dr. GARBA UMAR. Nigeria belongs to all of us. The country that we have. We don't have any other country but Nigeria. The program has been Nigeria Today, and the program returns same time, same station next week. And until then, be a good Nigerian, get your PVC. When you get to the polling station, vote your conscience. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.